thank you very much to the Trade Master Group for the invitation, and also thank you very much to all of you we are here today. I'm going to talk about private labels as the new brands, and what are the consequences and the importance of a strategic view of the private labels as the new brand. Before I start my presentation, just two important considerations. I know that a lot of you are not retailers, but are suppliers or manufacturers of private label. And my presentation is a retailer view. But as a manufacturer of private label, and also as a retailer, it's very important to understand the strategic part of private label. Because if you want to serve well your retailer clients as a manufacturer, you will have to understand how they work. Okay? And therefore, the understanding of the private label will help you to direct the right article in the right packaging and so on to the right retailer. Okay? The second consideration is we will focus mainly on the basics. Because in my experience at private label, if the private label of a retailer doesn't have the supposed success, almost always the problem is in the basic, which means the strategy. Okay? So, we're going to start. There it is. It's not a mistake, it's really what I'm going to talk. We're already talking the whole morning about private labels, so let's talk a little bit about cars. In 2002, Volkswagen wanted to launch the Volkswagen Phaeton, a car which was going to compete with Mercedes S, Audi A8, BMW 7 and so on. And it didn't work that well. And if we take a closer look, okay, what about the product? The product was good, definitely. It was a good product. High quality, definitely. And what about top technology? Also. So, at first look, everything was okay. Anyway, it costed hundreds of millions to Volkswagen. And why? Very easy. Because it had the wrong strategy. And that is what can happen also to your private label. You can have a good product, you can have a good packaging, you can have a good price, but if it doesn't fit in your strategy, in your private label brand strategy, it won't function. Okay? So, very important, private label is not just about buying and selling products. You buy a Coca-Cola, you buy Nutella, but doing business in private label is about creating your own brand, which is completely different. And when a company starts with private label, you have to do a mindset, you have to start it all over. You have to think in a different way to have success in private label. And to succeed, you need your own strategy. Because why are you doing private label? As Herman said very well, you want to have custom loyalty. You want to have products which other people, other retailers don't have. So you surely need your own strategy. You can maybe copy some things and look at benchmarking, but in the end, you will have to define your own strategy. Okay? Because, and that's very important, private label isn't private label. It's the same country, as you know, better than I. But in retail it's the same. A private label of retailer A isn't equal as a retailer B or C. So, we're going to look to the main influences of private label. Okay? Which are our starting points to define your strategy about private labeling. First of all, the type of your shop. Okay? We have a hard discounter. When I refer myself to hard discounters, think about Lidl and Aldi in the earlier days. And it's typical, a few SKUs. The private label by category, as you can see at the top, for example, is a fancy label, private label for one category, then you have another, and so on. To give an impression of variety of choice. And a high code of private label. If we go, for example, very characteristic is also the boxes. The selling boxes normally go directly into the shop, which is normally the only format which using this kind of presentation. If you go, for example, to a convenience store, it's different. Mainly, it's characterized by a high number of SKUs per square meter. Normally, no very strong private label strategy. It can differ if it is part of a bigger group in retail, which already has its own private label. It will put it also in the convenience store, but it's not the main target. And the low code of private label. For example, Spar in Holland, which is a more convenient supermarket, tried to put up its private label, invested a lot, and it became higher, but it's still below average. Then we go to the supermarket with a high number of SKUs, a high number of goods selling. The umbrella private label, which means that normally they use the store brands and make it for all categories. Therefore the name umbrella private label. And more some sub-private label, as Herman already said, like sugar-free, bio, fair trade, and so on. And more also a premium private label and also a budget private label. Then we have the good, better, best, which Herman said. And a higher code of private label. And then we have the hypermarket. Hypermarket with a huge number of SKUs, sometimes like 50, 60,000 articles selling. One umbrella private label, some sub-private label like sugar-free, bio, fair trade, and so on. But also the low budget private label, the premium private label. And normally a code of private label below the average. Why? Because if you have a very high code of percentage of private label sales in a hypermarket, you don't need that big number of SKUs. Continent, for example, which is the leading hypermarket in Portugal, they increased a lot their private label sales, and now they found out that the shops are too big and they make them smaller. Okay, they are from huge hypermarket to very big supermarket. This is what is the message? Okay, of course the strategies can differ and are maybe not that strong as I presented you, but the main message is your type of shop will influence your private label strategy. Okay, because a hard discount private label strategy is not the same as a private label strategy of a premium supermarket. Okay, so the first influence, the first thing that will influence your private label strategy is your shop format. Then we have, on the other hand, a second, the type of client. Which client I have. And first we have, and maybe you know this type of client, the low price client. The only thing which counts is price. That's the client which is always looking for the best promotion or the lowest price. Then we have, and normally in most countries, this is the biggest group of clients, the price quality. It's a client that maybe will pay a little bit more, but the quality must be much better. This is also why this is the biggest group, and the hard discounters focus on this group, because most people want a certain quality, and that's why this is the biggest group. And then the lovely client that only wants to have the best and pays and doesn't mind if he pays more or less, he just wants to have the best. So, these three clients will influence your private label. For example, a hypermarket which has to respond to all the clients will have, as Herman Sievers already presented, a low budget for the clients who want to have the cheapest article, the quality as the market, as the leading brand for the price quality, and then the premium brand for the clients who just want to have the best product. So, The important thing is your client target will influence your private label strategy. So, we have talked about the shop format, we have talked about your clients. Now we are going to look how we communicate with our clients. Message to the client. First of all, product quality. One of you asked why sometimes a product at Lidl doesn't succeed. I can tell you, in my own experience, if the quality is not right, the product don't function. Okay, the quality is one of the most strong message you send to your client, because he takes it home, he experiences it, and if he likes it, he will buy it again. So the quality is a direct communication to your client. And it is important to have a good and same quality at all your private label products. Because if you have 100 products of private label and the butter has a bad quality, you bring a doubt of your quality to all the 100 articles, because it's your brand. So you must have a very intensive private control, product quality control to guarantee your private label. Then, the type of packaging and also the branding of packaging, because most articles, the decision to buy one or another article is made at the shelf. So these two elements are very important, and the branding of the packaging also, which kind of private label branding I'm going to do. A fancy label and every category an own private label brand or an umbrella brand, for example. Then you have the price, very important, and also here it's important to have a clear message of the price to the client, that you can't have some private label articles which are more expensive than the brand, than the leading brand, and other more cheaper. You have to have a very clear message. These ones are the normal ones, but if we talk about private label branding, it doesn't stop here. Very important. Logistics. It's nice to have private label, but if I like some chocolate of a private label and I go to the shop, and sometimes it's present and sometimes it's not because of problems in logistics, it will bore me and I will stop buying. So the logistic is important, and also to see the supply chain in its totality to lower cost at maximum. Then we have the shop presentation. If I start to sell private label, the shop presentation will have influence in the way the customer looks to my private label. If I have a nice shop, a clean shop, a good organized shop, I will create much more confidence to the customer than if I don't have these elements. And then the second part of the presentation, the shop presentation, is how I present my private label. Do I think maybe it's not that good quality, I will put it here, but I have my private label, or it's like I'm proud of my quality, I'm as good as the national brand is here, and look, the same quality for less 30-40%. Okay, that's the shop presentation. And also shop service. How are my after sales? How are the persons who work in my shop to the customers? Do I have a good customer service? And publicity, also very important. The old-fashioned way, and also the internet and social media. For example, Lidl in Portugal had a journal with 3 million exemplars and a population of 10 million exemplars, and it was made of journal paper. In the start it worked very well, but the private label quality came up and up and up, and the image of Lidl in Portugal also. And there was a moment that the journal paper didn't correspond to the image people had from Lidl, and it had to be changed, and the whole concept was made new. So, normally, if we have a company which has problems in private label, what we see is this. The middle line is the target of the perception we want the client, the customer, to have from our organization. And some items are better, and some items are worse. But if we want to have success, we have to put them all at the same level. We have to balance all these elements in accordance with our private label strategy. So, just some examples. Making a discounter. We can say, okay, but we make logistic better. Okay, and it's okay. We are all at the proposed level or higher. But it's not. Imagine a product at the shelf in which we can see that the packaging is of high quality and the price is very good. In hard discounter, people will say, if they spend that much in the packaging and the price is that low, the product can be good. And they won't buy it. So, we have to put everything at the same level. And if we have a top supermarket, a premium supermarket, it's just the same. We have to be very clear in the message we give to our clients. Okay? We have to put all at the same level. You will have to balance all these elements in accordance with the private label strategy. And it's about pricing, all at the same level. It's about quality, all at the same level. It's about packaging, it's about shop presentation. Okay? Because we are talking about creating a brand. We are not just buying and selling articles. It's about creating a brand. Okay, now some meats and final consideration. Okay, this is a classical one, and it's about my quality is better than the brand. Maybe you know Coca-Cola, maybe you know PepsiCo. Forget it. My quality as a private label is much better because I have more sugar, because I have more whatever. And if we are in a category with strong brands, it doesn't work because what people want is the quality of the brand, but cheaper. There are some exceptions with premium private label and so on, but in the starting period of private label, it's very important that people want the quality of the leading brand. If we have no leading brand in a category, we can define the quality. But if there is a strong leader in the category, to start, we must have the quality of the leader. Okay. During crisis, private label percentage goes higher, and after the crisis they go back to the normal level. So we are here with the percentage of private label. There comes the crisis, we go up, and then we go down again. It's not true. Several studies say that they maintain at a higher level than before the crisis. And I believe that private labels came to stay, and they will grow on a global level during the next year. For several reasons. If we are going to look to the new generation and ask themselves, what's for you more important? To clean your clothes with a private brand or to clean your clothes with a private label and have money to buy a newer smartphone? They will all say they buy the smartphone. So, clearly there is a lot of space for private label, because private label is a cheaper and better alternative than the brand. Another myth, again, the cars, sorry. The cheapest product is the most sold. And normally that's not true. Because people don't want to have a cheap image. So, this is a very important one, because we, a lot of time, are only focused to be the cheapest. But most people don't want a cheap image, and it depends on the category. If I have toilet paper, it's no problem to have private label toilet paper at home. Nobody will say anything. But if I take a cola to my work, maybe I prefer to have a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola and not a private brand, because maybe it's not that good for my image. And that's very important to have in mind when we manage our private labels. At the same time, it brings us a problem. It's 12%. It's not the perfect percentage private label code in Ukraine. We just saw it's 12%. And if we want to make it higher, we have some problem. If we can't sell it as just cheap, how we can increase private label quote in Ukraine. And we have some very good examples in Germany. First of all, Aldi, and later on Media Market did it in a very easy way. Selling the private label as a clever solution. You know, I could buy the cola, but I bought private label because it's just the same and I'm paying less 40%. I'm a clever guy. And with that thought, we can transfer persons who buy brands to private label. Aldi was growing much faster at the moment. It was seen as a clever alternative. MediaMarkt even made a very intensive publicity about I'm not stupid because I'm buying private label. So, just ending, what I want you to take home from this presentation. First of all, private labels are the new brands. You, private label representatives, you are the new brands. And you have to treat your private label as a brand. Okay, that's not just about buying and selling goods. It's about creating your own private brand strategy. And if you don't have success in private label, I repeat again, it is because you have a problem with your private label brand strategy. Okay? And how we define a good private label strategy? Very easy. First approach. We are conditioned by our shops. Because we can change our shop in 1 or 2 years. It takes time. So we have to live with the shops we have. We have to think the starting point is the shops we have, because that is what we have. That will influence our private label strategy. And on the other hand, the clients we have. Which type of clients we have. Because the type of clients we also can't change in just 1 or 2 years. Based on this, I define the private brand strategy, which will be the base of your success. And the private brand strategy then will influence your shops, your private label, and your clients. Okay. Private label strategy, the basis for your success. Thank you very much.